20 years ago, a shocking documentary about Russian orphan children brought me to tears. I wanted to do something for these vulnerable kids and thought that the best way I can do that without quitting everything and shutting everything down is by actually giving. And from that day onwards, I started sponsoring children all over the world. However, what I really wanted to do is to build a boarding school for vulnerable children. Imagine a school that's so transformative that instead of seeing their past trauma as a curse, these children would see it as the foundation for a brighter future. I wanted to do that because a school principal gave me that same opportunity too. When I was 12, I lived in a rough part of town, and the local school was full of racist bullies that despised me because I'm Asian. Now, despite being desperately poor, Mom worked 3 jobs to send me to a private school, just so that I don't have to face them. Now, this is not some prestigious private school, but a small, underfunded Christian school filled with loving teachers who felt called to nurture children and give them an excellent education. It's the cheapest private school that provided a sanctuary for misfits that gets regularly bullied by local kids. Despite the low tuition, Mom still struggled to pay and eventually had to make the tough decision to move me to a public school. I still remember what the principal said during the exit interview. If money is a problem, don't worry. Stephen can stay. Pay when you can. My mom just cried when she heard his words. A single gesture of kindness means that I don't have to face bullying at school. It means I had a great education where I can graduate college with honors. That documentary made me reflect my own childhood struggles. I knew firsthand what it's like to be vulnerable, and I felt a deep responsibility to help kids like me. Despite my drive, I keep on hitting a wall. No matter how hard I work, I wasn't progressing at the level I expected. I wasn't making enough money to be able to fulfill my dream to build that school to sponsor more kids. So, why am I not reaching my goals? I initially suspected perhaps my mindset was at fault, so I invested heavily in motivation and mindset events. The mindset stuff helped me become super motivated and driven, but I'm still not progressing as fast as I could and I would have liked. Then I tried productivity courses, systems, tools, software, thinking they can help me get more done. It helped, but my productivity still wasn't where I wanted it to be, and I procrastinate constantly. It was at this time that I realized I'm having this extreme tiredness every day. And it feels like a massive struggle to get anything done. I'll go to bed feeling super tired, but I can't sleep. My mind is racing and I can't stop thinking about the business or the tricky problems I had to solve. When I wake up in the morning, I'll struggle no matter how much I slept. And then I have my dreaded afternoon energy crash, where I can barely keep my eyes open. I'll be looking for another energy drink or just a place for a nap. To make things worse, I feel so frustrated and tired, I often lose my temper with the kids over slight mistakes. Looking at their faces, filled with tears and fear, all I felt was regret and shame. The thing is, the situation is worse for me because I know what my kids saw was not the real me. I'm better than this. I felt like a failed father. And at this stage, I know I've got an energy and focus problem. So I mentioned to my doctor during a regular health exam. He ran some tests, and it turns out that my blood sugar was in the diabetic range. I needed to take drugs to control it immediately, or my problem won't just be fatigue and mood swings. Eventually, it could mean blindness, amputation. Now, I know medication was an option, but I wanted to explore every natural science-backed alternative before committing to something that's like a lifelong treatment. So I looked for alternatives. And one day, I read a story about a diabetic using biohacking to get off their medication. I didn't know what biohacking was, so I looked it up. And it turns out Dave Asprey, the father of biohacking, defined it as this: the art and the science of changing the environment around you and inside of you so you have full control of your biology. Well, that's kind of what I need, right? I need to take control of my biology so I can fix my fatigue and focus issues and finally make progress in my business the way I know I can. So I dove deep into biohacking, but only to hit a roadblock, like no one teaches in Australia. So look, I traveled to the source of everything biohacking, the great United States of America. So I studied with the world's best biohackers, medical and peak performance experts, people like Dave Asprey, Dr. Michael Bruce, Win Harf, Dr. Stephen Gundry, Jim Quick, and many, many more. I double my deep sleep with blue light blockers and circadian rhythm programming. I enhance my focus using neurofeedback, brain training, and nootropics. And I follow Body by Science exercise protocol and stabilize my energy by fine-tuning my nutrition to align with my genetics. Look, it wasn't overnight. I admit, I had to experiment, refine, and build habits. But within months, I started feeling a level of clarity and energy I haven't experienced in years. I went from extreme daily fatigue and brain fog to feeling so amazing. It feels like I have finally unlocked my full potential, like a fog has lifted off my brain and it's firing on all cylinders. I have so much energy. I got more done in 6 months than in the previous 7 years in my business. Every day, I just feel bulletproof, powerful, tough, ready to take on whatever life can throw my way. I don't suffer from constant hunger anymore. And my mood, it's awesome. I lost 37 pounds, became fitter, stronger, and healthier than I've ever been. Most importantly, I had enough energy to be fully present for my family. Despite a grueling day of back-to-back meetings, I can be kind, nurturing father that I am. My transformation was so profound that I went all in, learning all I can about biohacking. Clocking over 44,000 miles of travel worldwide, investing over $87,000 of my own money in learning how I can help other fatigue and brain fog people upgrade their sleep, diet, exercise, and brain to solve it all. I was so excited I started sharing biohacking with executives and entrepreneurs that I do coaching for. But there was a problem with this. My clients found it very difficult to implement, and they feel like they're drinking from a fire hose when they listen to me sometimes. And instead of inspiring them to take action, they do nothing. How cool would it be? That's where I started thinking, right? How cool would it be if we can create something so simple to implement that will make it virtually impossible to fail in eliminating brain fog and fatigue? A system that provides clear step-by-step instructions that can give results within days, not weeks or months. So I spent the next 8 months ruthlessly eliminating the time wasters and only keeping what's most impactful for peak performance to create energy and focus transformation system. Now, most health advice is so vague. Eat healthy, exercise more, sleep 8 hours, and drink more water, but my system eliminates the guesswork. By using cutting-edge genetic science, I create customized strategies that work specifically for busy high achievers who don't have the time for trial and error. And when I share my new system with my clients, this happened. Within weeks, dozens of them overcame years of chronic fatigue, sleep deprivation, insatiable cravings, mood swings, and energy roller coasters. One of my clients, a struggling entrepreneur, launched his new business and received an Australian Business Innovation Award for fixing his fatigue and diet problems. A director of a large Australian bank got a promotion after implementing my system and dramatically improved his performance at work. I finally found a system that works consistently for anyone looking to transform their energy and focus. All you have to do is to implement. No more wasting time on random social media hacks to try this or this might work. No more wasting time and money on snake oil magical solution that promise the world but doesn't deliver. No more expensive doctor visit only to give you a temporary fix while leaving you worried about your long-term health. I know how frustrating it can be to have the dreams of changing the world but not having the energy and focus to do it. Therefore, I made it my mission to share my system with the world for free. You can start right now with my free videos, cheat sheets, and infographics. Having the system is often enough for many of you to put this knowledge into action. But for some of you, you have reached out to me asking what specific genetic test you'll be using, how do I interpret this, what brand supplements they can trust, which brand they should avoid, how to integrate the system into their busy lifestyle. Now, if that sounds like you, or you just want additional support, I have an executive coaching program for those who just want to get the result fast without wasting time figuring it out themselves. Drop the word limitless below. I'll reach out to you and see if I can help. Take care.